Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be testing out two new products for you, and that is the Supreme Nudes palette and the Silk Cream lipstick from Artist Couture. This is my first time ever trying this brand, so if you want to see how I got this look and what I think of these two products, then just keep on watching. Okay, so before we get into the tutorial, I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of information. So I have the Supreme Nude palette from Artist Couture and a Silk Cream lipstick. Now, I have never tried this brand before. I was interested in the Midnight Maven palette when that came out, but honestly, it's a colorful palette and I don't really wear color, so I'm trying to not buy things that I won't really wear. But when this came out, I was in love with it right away and I decided I wanted to try the brand. I had heard good things about the Midnight Maven palette, so I figured this one would be good, if not better. And then honestly, I wasn't planning on getting a lipstick, but when I saw the color, I just couldn't not get it. I'm trying to still find like my perfect nude. So this one is like a pinky nude. Let me show you the top. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's black. I really do like the packaging. And now you can get this on either the Artist Couture website or Sephora. I did end up picking it up from Sephora only because I had a gift card. So I figured that would kind of help take down the cost a little bit. And just to give you the pricing information, the Supreme Nudes palette is $40. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone. And then the Silk Cream lipstick is $18. So I mean, honestly, for the palette, that's actually not a bad price because you get 12 shadows in here. And like Tarte, for example, they're like the Tartelette Toasted palette that is also 12 shadows and it is $39. So I feel like it's pretty comparable to other brands at Sephora, and same goes for the lipstick. I believe the Jeffree Star liquid lips are $18, so I think it's pretty comparable. So we will dive into these products. I did open the palette only to make sure nothing was broken when I received it in the mail. So we are going to just open up the packaging and see what it looks like. Alright, so it is like this shiny black. As you can see, there is like a glare. Sorry, let me try to. So this is what it looks like. It's a plasticky material. It has all of the ingredient information on the back, which that is actually really nice. I know a lot of palettes, they only put the ingredient info like on the box, which this has it as well, but who keeps the box? Usually nobody keeps the box. So I feel like this is kind of nice to have all of the ingredient information on the back in case you do care about what is in the product. And then you open it up and there is no like plastic protective layer over the shadows, but this is what they look like. It's a little bit glary because of the type of packaging, but I'm going to tell you guys the main thing that drew me to this palette was this shade right here. I am a sucker for like these pretty shimmery green shades because I feel like greens just look good on brown eyes or even like a hazel eye. I don't know, I just feel like it makes brown eyes look really nice. So as you see, it is just your, it's a Supreme Nude. It's a nude palette, but for me that is my everyday type of palette, so that's why I gravitated towards this. Not that I needed another nude palette, but I really just wanted to try the brand and try this palette. So the mirror does have like a protective sticker over it, so we'll peel that off. And wow, the mirror is actually really nice. Like, it's a super clear, high quality mirror. Like, I can see, I don't want to blind you guys, but as you can see, it's a pretty good mirror. So I think this is a really good mirror to have for like when you're trying to actually apply your makeup. Like if you didn't have a standalone mirror, like I do have one, but honestly this is almost like clearer than my standalone one. So I'm just tapping out the concealer on my lid. So for the first impression tutorial, I do have my lids primed with my Laura Mercier concealer. As I mentioned before, I always do concealer on my lid when I'm trying out a new palette, or just in general. I don't really use eyeshadow primer specifically because I feel like my concealer just does the thing I need it to do. It just creates a nice even base, covers out some of the like veins in my eyes, and I don't know, I feel like shadows perform well over top of concealer, so I don't really feel the need to go out and buy a whole separate product just to prime the eyes, you know? So I want to just go ahead and get right into this, honestly, and we will start with setting down my lid with the shade Exposed, which is just a nice like bone color right here. Okay, I'm just gonna dip into it. There's a tiny bit of kick up, but nothing too extreme. So far, so good. I feel you're not gonna really be able to see, but it did set down the concealer. Looks nice. I don't see anything to complain about. Now I'm going to take just a fluffy crease brush, as I normally do. And I think I will gradually go in with the shade Stripped, which is this one right here. And we're just going to buff this all into the crease. I'm not really seeing much kick up in this shade at all. I mean, and I'm dipping my brush in. It's like very, very minimal and really not much at all. That exposed shade had more than this one does. So I'm just going to fluff this into the crease. Since this is like a lighter brown, it's not going to show up as much, but I mean, it actually is showing up more than I thought it was going to. Now, if you had like a deeper skin tone than I do, this probably wouldn't show up very well. It would be more like just, like if you had a medium skin tone, I don't know how well this would actually show up. But it actually, like I said, has more color payoff than I thought it was going to. I'm just really like fluffing this into the crease. This is going to be more like an everyday look, which I know a lot of my looks are geared towards everyday because that is the kind of makeup that I enjoy doing. But this is a Supreme Nudes palette, so you're going to expect to get, you know, a more everyday look out of it, in my opinion at least. And one thing I find that helps is like you want to like relax and pull your eye like throughout doing this, just because you want to make sure that the shadows are getting all through the crease. I found that relaxing my eye and pulling it does help in the dispersion, is that a word? In the dispersion, I guess, of the color. So, okay, so here is what the crease is looking like so far. Honestly, these blended really nicely. They don't feel rough or anything. Let me actually swatch one just to see what it feels like. It is. It's like it's a soft, like buttery feeling eyeshadow for sure. So let me just add a little bit more to this eye, just because I feel like the other eye has more than this one does. And I want this shade to come up higher, just because it is like the lightest shade we're using, aside from obviously the exposed shade, which was a setting shade. So I want this one to be a little bit higher up. Okay, so far so good. I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to be using this green shade. This is like the whole reason I bought this palette, so I'm definitely going to be using it. Now what I want to do is take a little bit more of I'll show you for a second. So this was the first brush we used. As you can see, it's fluffy, it's bigger and fluffier, so this is, you know, it's gonna get color kind of everywhere. Whereas this one now we're gonna move into is smaller. It's still like a fluffy crease brush. It has a little bit of a point, but it is smaller, so I can concentrate the color a little bit better. So I think what I want to do is take this shade Silhouette right below it. The reason I'm going in with this one is because this one looks a little bit more cool toned, and I feel like it's going to match with this shade a little bit better. So, you know, we'll see. Again, not really much kick up in this pan either. Like, so far the exposed shade is the one that had the most kick up, and it really wasn't a lot. It was nothing like Anastasia kick up or anything like that. So I'm just making sure to coat the brush, and we'll tap it. And then I'm going to just start by like stamping in the outer corner a little bit and then going into the crease. Since this is like a pointed, fluffier brush, it does help to get into the crease a little bit better. And again, this is where like relaxing the eye and pulling it can help too, because you want to make sure the color is getting spread evenly. And so for me on this eye, I do have like a bit of a hood. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it. Like, so I have a crease in my eye like right there. So sometimes shadows don't always look the best on like this eye, whereas this eye I don't have that as much. Like this eye is definitely worse than this one, so if you've ever noticed that, that is why. So now I'm just going to do the same thing on this eye and just stamp it in the outer corner first and then drag it into the crease. And don't worry about the lid being messy, we're just going to cover that with our shimmery shade anyways. So I always see this eye is a lot easier for me to do because like I go back and forth on which eye is easier, but since this one does have like that hooding a little bit, like I have that extra bit of eyelid, this one is easier just a little bit, but sometimes this one doesn't always turn out perfect either. I'm gonna add just a little bit more on this side because I feel like the left eye was a little bit darker. Okay, so that is that shade so far. And now keep in mind, because this always happens, on camera sometimes over here it'll look like there's missing shadow, but I can assure you that it is not patchy. These are blending effortlessly and seamlessly, and there is not a single bit of patchiness that I'm seeing at all, even if on camera it looks a little bit scarce right here. It is literally perfect. So then I'm going to go back in with this brush and we're going to go back in with that strip shade, which is what we put throughout the crease. And I'm just going to like gently buff the edges and blend those out. I'm barely touching the brush to my skin and I'm just going over the edges. And then again, same thing on the other eye. Again, barely even touching the brush to my skin. Alright, so we are going to do a deeper shade, which I believe I'm going to go in with this mink shade. But I want to go ahead and put our shade Supreme on the lid first. I'm going to swatch it just to see what it looks like. So here it is on the finger. That is beautiful. This shade, honestly, let me just swatch on the back of my hand. This is stunning. Look at that. That shine, it is, wow. Wow, I am really impressed by how this looks, honestly. And it has really pretty, like, sparkle to it. Like, it's hard to explain, but it has almost like these just reflective little, I don't know how well you'll be able to actually see it on camera, but it's just like these really pretty reflective sparkles. It is really pretty. I'm really excited to put this on my lid. So I'm just going to actually go in with my finger, just because that is a lot of times what I'll do with a shimmer anyway. I do have shimmers that work with a brush, like my Dominique Cosmetics Latte palettes. Those work great with a brush, which I have a feeling this one would too, but I just kind of want to go in with my finger. This is such a pretty shade. I am going to go in with a brush after just to kind of get it into the crease a little bit. But just for initially, I want to put it on with my finger. Alright, so then what I want to do is I'll take a flat shader brush and dip into it just so I can get up in the like crease area, and I'm just very carefully blending it into the crease because we want it to all be like seamless, you know. And again, we are going to add a deeper shade and go back and blend the crease with some more of the original shades we used, but I just want to get this color on the lid. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful green shade. I'm obsessed with it. I think it is stunning. I'm sorry if I keep like rolling this eye. My contact is being super annoying today, and I just put in new ones because I thought my old ones were maybe like the problem, but this eye is just not wanting to have it, and I hate contacts. I literally only pretty much wear contacts to do videos just so you don't have the glare from my glasses, and because if I didn't have contacts on right now, I would not even be able to see my camera. So anyway, let me just really quick take that first brush and that first shade Stripped again, and we're just gonna lightly, you know, buff the crease a little bit just to blend. You wanna make sure everything is well blended, of course. And then I also want to go ahead and jump into the lower lash line really quick. So I'm going to take this brush. This is like my favorite brush to use. It's the Morphe M507. This is a great brush to do your like lower lash line with. So I'm just going to take Stripped first and buff that along the lower lash line, connecting it to the upper. Then we'll go in with the same brush and we'll go in with that second shade we used, which was Silhouette. I'm first focusing the bulk of that color out here and then dragging it inward. So here is what we got so far. I am just obsessed with this green shade. It is so, so pretty. So pretty. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take this brush. It's like it's similar to that brush we used earlier, so let me show you the difference. So here's what we used with the second shade. That's what we used with the second shade. Then this is what I'm going to use now. It's almost just like a smaller version of that. So, you know, basically what I do is with my brushes, I just get smaller as I go with the colors and how I want to concentrate them. So I'm going to take this shade Mink right here and then dip this into it. And since this is a deep shade, I don't want to go too crazy at first. I'm just lightly tapping the brush in. Tiny, tiny bit of kick up, but nothing really too extreme. And now I'm going to just deepen up the outer V. This is a super pigmented shade already, and I didn't put a lot. I don't know if you can see, but it's definitely pretty pigmented. So that's why I always recommend going in lightly with any deep shade, because it's easier to add than it is to take away. So I'm just building that up, making sure that most of the product is going on the outer portion, and then I will just lightly start to drag this inward. Most of the color is being left in the outer portion, and you want to make sure that the outer corner is blended nicely in with that green. So this got pretty crazy, so I'm just going to take this brush with no additional product and just kind of blend out the edge and blend over it, because that got a little bit dark. Now, if you were to do this eye look before you were to do your face makeup, you can always clean it up with your concealer and stuff. But I did my face makeup first just to save time for the video. Okay, so I know that looks crazy. Alright, we're going to do the same thing on the other eye, and I might try to clean this up with like my beauty blender with any leftover product, but we'll see how it looks in the end. So again, just taking that, and we're going to do the same thing on this eye. And again, it looks a little bit insane, and once we do the lower lash line with this color and connect it, it'll probably look a lot better. But I'm just no additional product, I'm just blending the edge just to make sure that it doesn't look too insane. Alright, and now what I want to do is I'm going to take a like stiffer pencil brush, and we're going to take that same shade Mink, and we're going to focus this on the lower outer portion of the lower lash line. And you want to make sure you are connecting it to this outer portion because you want it to be uniform. This look honestly went from like it was supposed to be like an everyday look to this is something I would wear more like on a night out, not really like to work. Same thing on the other eye. And you know, I'm sure all of this is going to come together more once I do my mascara and eyeliner. That always makes a big difference and kind of just takes a look that looks kind of crazy and tones it, like ties it all together. Okay, so now let me just go in with that other brush we used in the lower lash line, take a little bit of Stripped and just kind of blend the, you know, the darker shade. Just blend everything. Alright, so here is what the eyes are looking like. So far I think it looks really, really pretty. I know I dragged it out a little bit more than I was planning on it, but once we add the mascara and all that, I'm sure, like I said, it will all tie together. So now what I want to do, so okay, one thing I will say about this palette is if you look, there is really no good like brow bone shade unless you were to just use this shade, which is what I set my concealer with. This one is, it's not pulling as goldy as it is in person. Let me just take some of that on my finger here. It is definitely more gold, so this is not really something I would use to highlight my inner corner or my brow bone. So what I'll probably, let me try this one here. This is Lavish. Yeah, so the two lighter shimmery shades are just more goldy than I want to put in my inner corner. So I'm gonna go grab a highlight. Alright, so I grabbed my NARS Fort de France. I think this will be perfect for what I need. So I'm just gonna take a little pencil brush and dig into that. And we'll just pop this in the inner corner. So there is the inner corner. And let me go ahead and just pop some of this on the brow bone as well. And I always focus the bulk of it at the arch point and then kind of blend it outward, just because you want the eye to be lifted. Alright, so liner and mascara is on. As you can see, it really did help to just tie everything together more. No, this is not like a perfect eye look, but I'm happy with how it turned out. That green shade is literally giving me life. I love it. So now let's go ahead and we're going to try out this lipstick. So let me just go ahead and we're going to line the lips. Okay, so I'm literally just lining the lips. Then let's go ahead and try this lipstick. Other thing I wanted to just point out really quick is, look, this palette bends all the way back. You know how a lot of palettes just kind of sit like this? Well, this one goes all the way back, so it makes it a lot easier to be able to actually like get up close and see yourself without the palette itself like getting in the way. So let me go ahead and put the lipstick on. Wow. Already just from like one swipe, it is super creamy. That is a really pretty color, and that is super creamy. Now, I do have a little bit of dryness like back here, so that is not the lipstick. My lips looked like that. They had the dryness before. But wow, that is a really, really pretty lipstick. This is the shade Boy Toy, by the way. This is like, that is like honestly like my perfect nude. It feels so comfortable. I don't even feel like I'm wearing lipstick, honestly. That feels great. I have really been into like bullet lipsticks more so than liquid lipsticks lately. I do still wear my liquid lipsticks, you know, and I have worn them in videos, but for comfortability, I feel like just you can't beat a classic bullet lipstick, even if they don't hold up as long as a liquid lip does. But wow. Alright, so here is what the eyes and the lip look like up close. is just a really pretty look. I am really happy with this, how this look came out, even though it's a little bit more dramatic than I thought I was gonna go for. But this is a perfect like night out look for me, honestly. It has some like depth to it. It has that pretty green like sparkle shimmer. It's just really, really pretty. So let's go ahead and we will wrap up my thoughts now on this palette and the lipstick. Alright, so first I want to just go ahead and we'll show you the palette again. I ended up using these 3 shades, this shade, and this shade. So I used 5 out of the 12 shades. I definitely want to do a look using like the more goldy tones in the palette, but honestly I feel like these 5 shades went beautifully together. I feel like this look just looks like it was meant to be together. The shadows are beautiful. This dark mink shade is super pigmented. All of the mattes blended that I used blended perfectly. I mean, honestly, I really didn't have to work that hard for this look. I feel like I was able to throw together this look with minimal effort, honestly, and I'm not a makeup artist, so, you know, I always like shadows that don't require a ton of work to make the look, you know what I mean? I'd rather a palette just be easy for the everyday consumer, since most of us are everyday consumers and we want palettes that are fuss free. At least me, you know, I'm willing to make a shadow work. There's not many palettes that I've tried that I have just not been able to get to work, like the Millennial Pinks. Like, I had to really work that palette, just awful. Honestly, that's like the first palette that I can truly say I just could not get to work. I did not really like it. The quality was not that good. But as far as like most palettes, I can usually get them to work. This, I didn't need to get it to work. It just works. It blends really, really nicely. I can see this becoming like a nice everyday palette for me, because I could easily just throw in like this shade into these 2 shades like into the crease or all over the lid and just get out the door. You know, I could even put this shade Lavish for like an everyday look, and I just feel like this is going to be a really easy palette for people to use that just need an everyday look, but that can still transform it into a nighttime look. Like I said, this look for me would more personally be for going out at night, not necessarily going to my office job. So I am really pleasantly surprised by Artist Couture. This is my first experience with the brand, and I'm really happy with it, and I'm excited to see what the brand comes out with next, and you know, more palettes and more products. This lipstick literally feels like I'm not even wearing anything. Just from the first swipe, it literally feels like putting butter on almost. It's so comfortable, and I feel like it looks really pretty. Now obviously I just put it on, so I don't know what the longevity will be. I will try to wear this throughout the rest of the day and see like how long it kind of holds up. It is 2:57 p.m. right now, and I do plan on eating at some point. Of course, it's only 3 in the afternoon, but we will see how this holds up. Since it is so creamy, I'm not having the highest expectations that it's gonna hold up for like 10 hours, you know, but I do feel like this is just a really pretty color. I just really love this color. I feel like it suits my skin tone as a nude, and honestly, like I said, it's so comfortable, and the packaging is black and gold. I just feel like it's super simple. And I just noticed something actually. This actually, it's actually kind of hard to open. It clicks down, so you don't really have to worry about this coming loose. Some lipsticks, they don't click, they just kind of go on, and you have to worry about like if you put it in your makeup bag, is it going to come apart? But this, I mean, as you see, I'm actually kind of struggling to get it open, so it clicks down, and that is a nice feature, you know. For $18, you want a product that has some thought put into the packaging. Now, I'm sure this packaging is going to get really dirty. I can already see like my fingerprints all over it, but I really love just the branding and how simple it is, and it's black. I love black. And like I mentioned while I was doing my makeup, the mirror folds all the way back pretty much. So like when I'm trying to get super close, I can literally get like up to my face and still be able to do things. I did the whole look with this palette as my mirror, so I feel like that's really nice, because a lot of times palettes just kind of sit like this, and then you're trying to like do things and this gets in the way, and you can't really get it as close to your face because it's sitting like this. So with this, you can get it. I feel like he really, Mac Daddy, that's who the brand owner is. I don't really watch him or anything. I didn't even know that that's who owned this brand until I had stumbled across I don't remember how I figured it out. I think it was from somebody mentioning that it was his brand, and I feel like he really did put a lot of thought into the functionality of the packaging of both of these. Like this snapping closed gives it extra security. This coming all the way back just makes it easier to use the mirror. There's so many palettes that I have that have mirrors that you can't really use because the palette gets in the way, you know? So overall, I'm actually just really impressed, if you can't tell from my rambling about everything. And I think this is definitely going to become like a staple palette for me. I definitely want to play around with the looks, and I'll probably do more looks on my channel with it. You know, I say that every time I do like review videos, and I don't want you guys to think that I won't. I just don't want to do too many looks with the same palette back to back, but you will see this palette on my channel again. I want to do like a nice, really like soft everyday look using this. So anyway, I think I have done enough rambling, so I'm gonna just wrap this video up. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial and this kind of review of this palette and my first impressions of the brand Artist Couture. I'm really excited to see what Mac Daddy and Artist Couture, his brand, come out with in the future. Maybe he'll do some more nude palettes, you know, I don't know. We'll see where he takes the brand, and I'm actually really excited to see where it goes. Anyway, enough rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments if you've tried this palette or if you've tried anything else from Artist Couture and what you think of it. I would love to know what you think of the brand. If you're interested in picking this up, let me know in the comments. We can chat since we're all home and we have like nothing to do pretty much. I would love to just chat with you in the comments, and I hope you guys are all staying safe during the pandemic situation, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It would really help me out and mean a lot to me if you gave it a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button because that also helps me out and makes me really happy. So anyway, I will stop rambling. That is it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!